All righty. Welcome to another edition of Vegas Badboyz of Podcasting. I'm DJ Impact, and I got the Badboyz here with me. Again, it's good to see you, fellas. We're going to go right into our 3-count topics. We got 3 good ones for you. If you happen to be on Facebook chat, throw your comments in there. We would love to hear what you're saying, and we'll try to get it on to our program as we see fit. Our first count comes from BleacherReport.com. It's titled Hot Take. WWE Crown Jewel is going to be must-see TV with AEW creating urgency. So the article just kind of goes over the history of Crown Jewel. It talks about a lot of the matches that it's had. It's talking about a lot of the big matches that this Crown Jewel is putting together. And then it jumps into this part of the story. It says, at least partially, WWE fans have AEW to thank here. Where there are no legitimate competition, it would be much easier for WWE to look at Crown Jewel, shrug off the reputation it has with fans, and keep things same while cashing the check. Now, WWE can't afford the luxury now. AEW is a powerhouse in the mind share of fans thanks to assembling a roster that creates must-see television, headlined by recent additions like CM Punk, Adam Cole, and Bryan Danielson. And the new company on the block has made it clear it won't take shows off. After all, Punk debuts happen on a Friday night in a bad time slot on a new 1-hour show. And while WWE isn't in any serious danger from the competition just yet, things are slowly trending that way. There's no room for a shrug-worthy show, and maybe the most important factor, the superstars themselves probably don't like the idea of just going through the motions overseas and then hearing the fans backlash because they weren't permitted to do anything significant despite the scope of the stage. So this year, it's worth getting a little hype for a Crown Jewel. That's risky, given WWE's approach in the past, but the presence of a worthwhile competitor, never mind the fact that we are in the thick of NFL season, could mean the beast overseas show today and lead to something WWE doesn't do often, exceeding fan expectations and sending them home excited for what comes next. Now, guys, it's never been no secret for myself. Crown Jewel is an event that I do not watch. And I just don't watch, mainly just because of the incident that happened. And I, for the life of me, just didn't see why WWE did not take a stand for that took place. Nevertheless, it is what it is. It does look like, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, the event, the card is looking strong, and it makes me want to go, I really would like to see it, but I don't want to participate in it. Nevertheless, I do have some questions here. I'm going to do something a little different. I'll start off with you, Matt Michaels. He says, though, that at least partially WWE fans have AEW to thank here. If there were no legitimate competition, it would be much easier for WWE to look at Crown Jewel, shrug off the reputation it has with fans, and keep things same while cashing the check. Do you really think that Crown Jewel is a better show, or looking like from a card standpoint, because of the quote-unquote competition that AEW is now bringing to the wrestling field?
What's interesting about this is that Peacock is getting more views for the pay-per-views now than they were getting on the network. So the thing is I don't think that the competition is the reason that the card is better. I think you got a couple factors. One, they had such a bad experience on the last trip. I think that is one of those things where I think they're trying to smooth out everything, both parties. But the biggest factor in this is it's not for the fucking American audience. It's for the Saudis who are in the arena and and seeing this. This whole thing is a fucking a show. It's a dog and pony show.
Right.
And that's it, man. It's for the Saudis to make themselves look good on the world stage. And I don't think they're listening to fans as much as they're listening to what the guy giving them all this fucking money wants to see. And that's been the thing since the beginning of this. So,
yeah. So let me ask you this, Simon Street. If let's just say that what Michael's is saying is correct here. I mean, they're just putting on this show to satisfy, the Saudis. There is not really much for us. Why would, what's your thoughts on why would you think this card would be built so strong? I mean, to a point where the outcomes of these matches somehow are going to be significant to how things play out later on. I mean, how many people would want to see Brock and Reigns, from an American stage? I mean, is you really going to give that match off there if it's not really for us? What's your take on that, Simon Street?
Well, I would definitely say a lot of the matches that's on the card for this event are must-see matches. I'm just going to be honest with you. And I think that they are stacking it, in my mind, for two possible scenarios. Scenario number one, which Michael's kind of alluded to, was that, there was a little bit of miscommunication and incidences that happened in a couple of Crown Jewels prior. Mm-hmm. That I think that this is kind of going to kind of soften those misunderstandings and leading in with good faith. So I get that. On the side, it's might be a bit of a stretch, but for me, I think if you really think about it, Crown Jewel is a testing ground, I believe, for what possibly could be events. And I know WWE has done events similar to this on a smaller scale, but seeing the bigger picture of what if there's another country that's saying, hey, we like what you did with Crown Jewel. We can't pay you as much as obviously the Saudis did, but we'd like to do something like that. I believe that WWE has enough data from doing these to maybe do something like that. And again, that's a stretch. But I will say this. A lot of people are going to tune in to watch Crown Jewel because of the matches. And I think that that's just a strategic thing that I think that they want to do. Because right now that outcry that you have, and that's your personal opinion, and that's great, but that's not on the radar no more to the larger scale of people. They're not worried about that controversy no more. That was almost 2 years old. So I think a lot of people are going to tune in. Was it the 21st or something like that? And it's going to be for us Americans, probably 10 in the morning or something like that, or
10 in the morning, 9 or 10 in the morning West Coast time. So yeah.
So they're going to tune in, and I think it's all strategic. I think it's really strategic. Michael said it right on the nail. Peacock viewers are, as far as WWE pay-per-views, are higher. And I foresee we're going to see more Crown Jewels or something to that degree once their contract's up. I don't know what their contract is for Crown Jewel. Wasn't it like five events?
10 years.
Oh, well, shit. Okay. I'm sorry. Yes. So again, outside of what you're talking about, Impact and your personal reasons, I don't have a problem with Crown Jewel. I feel like it's progressively gotten better to where it makes me want to watch it in the morning. Let's put it that way.
Let me ask you, Sin City Steve. So why why give the Saudis this show is the question I'm looking for. Do you think it really has to do with AEW, which you've come to really enjoy what they're doing? Do you really think it has something to do with them? Because we have to admit that all the other shows were just like whatever. And we don't know. Maybe this show would end up being but the card is looking strong. What's the deal behind that? Why not just give the Saudis just a show without putting this card together?
So I think that as was mentioned in here, but also as was mentioned in the chat by John, it's a glorified house show for the Saudis. So this will allow them to, have a card full of matches that in theory, they can test pilot certain things that they want to do, gauge a live reaction almost exactly what they would use a house show to do. The thing to keep in mind is that, yes, they're getting just an obscene buttload of money for this show. They're getting like $50 million. So realistically, yeah, I'm sure that the king of Saudi Arabia has certain people that he wants on the show. It was made known at one of the previous events that he had a list of wrestlers that he wanted to have on the show. Now, mind you, some of those wrestlers were like Yokozuna, who was long dead, and people that didn't even work for the company. So it is what it is, but ultimately it's about placating them and giving them the show that they're paying for. Now, obviously, they want to stack Roman's challengers as best they can, because they're continuing to build him up for that eventual match. You all know which one it is. He's got to look like as if he is the guy, and he's got to go through every single name that is alive that he can wrestle, that is, that can give him a decent match. So it's one of those things that as they continue to ramp him up until that match with The Rock at WrestleMania, this is what it is. And I do think that realistically there is a little bit, I won't say that it's the main proponent, but if there was no competition whatsoever for WWE, they would mail in the show. They've done it before in years past when AEW didn't exist. They did shows at the Saudi Arabia shows, be it Crown Jewel or be it a different name. They did the Greatest Royal Rumble or whatever the hell it was. They do these shows, and realistically, they don't exist outside of, in the main WWE canon. So nothing really matters what happens with those matches. I mean, shit, Shawn Michaels came back one year and had an obscenely bad match that a lot of us wish that he never would have come back for.
Right. But his pocketbook doesn't.
Oh, exactly. No, that's the thing. Get your paycheck. If you're a worker and you're okay with going to Saudi, fuck it, man. Why not? But yeah, to insinuate that it's just happenstance that they're actually putting on a decent show without AEW suddenly being in the marketplace, that's somewhat delusional. Now, am I saying that that's the main driver? No.
No doubt. All right, y'all. Thank you for that. Let's go right into our second count. This is from CageSideSeats.com. It's titled "Dynamite Ratings Dropped Again. It Will Likely Get Worse from Here." He writes and say the ratings and viewership are in the last night, which this is talking about the October 6th episode of AEW Dynamite. Per Show Buzz Daily, Dynamite netted 1,053,000 viewers for a 0.37 rating point in the 18 through 49-year-old demographic. The numbers are down from last week's results of 1,152,000 and 0.45 in these respective metrics. Dynamite ranked fourth place in the key demo rating on cables this past Wednesday show. AEW achieved very impressive ratings and viewership numbers throughout the month of September, but October begins on a down note. Major League Baseball do-or-die playoff game between LA Dodgers and St. Louis Cardinals topped the cable charts with 6.673 million viewers and a 1.73 rating in the key demo. And the sports schedule will only make things tougher on Dynamite from here. Next week's episode is being bumped from Wednesday to Saturday, October 16th, thanks to National Hockey League. And following week's Dynamite will also face a date change due to hockey. So how much of this week's drop is related to the sports? Well, I guess we'll have to check and see. This goes right over to you, Sin City. This is the question I asked. And you just tell me what your thoughts is on this. Okay. Now, if you are a true sports fan of a team that is in the playoffs and you're a wrestling fan, I absolutely get it. You probably would choose the sport that you're watching. I got people on my Facebook. I'm reading comments they're going, oh yeah, go Dodgers. And I know they haven't watched one Dodger game and probably can't name one Dodger player. Okay. At the same time, the playoffs coming on. So here's the question I have. Okay. Yes, I guess you want to feel like you're in the moment. At the same time, you are a wrestling fan. Okay. Why would somebody who doesn't necessarily care for the sport or watch the sport then go watch the sport and not watch something that they truly do love, which would be if it's AEW? Because I'm trying to figure out if the excuses are we have in all of these sports that's causing the numbers to go down. And I'm saying that's probably true. Then are they not really true AEW fans? Because I know I like the Raiders, but if Roman Reigns is coming on that same night, I'm probably going to choose Roman Reigns. I'm just being honest.
Wow.
I would.
Wow.
Again, I'm not a hardcore fan. I like the Raiders. I know you like the Steelers. With you're going to watch them hardcore because you're a hardcore Steelers fan.
Yep.
I'll be honest to tell you, I'm not a hardcore Raiders fan. But I'm a Raiders fan. I'll watch the games if it's not interrupting other stuff that are more important to me. Wrestling is more important to me when it comes to my viewership. So I'm just wondering, are you telling me that all the AEW fans that's beginning to just bounce all of a sudden during these highlights is because they're just more fans towards these professional games, or they're not maybe real fans? They're just kind of, it's just something to watch. Where are all these people going? Why the numbers drop like that?
Well, bottom line is you actually gave the answer to your question in your readout. The Major League Baseball game wasn't just any regular game. It was a do or die playoff game between the LA Dodgers and the St. Louis Cardinals, which, the Dodgers and the Cardinals have two of the most rabid fan bases in baseball. And let's be real, both of those areas, they have a lot of wrestling fans. Personally, if a team that I liked was involved in a game where if they won, that they were in the playoffs, I would watch that game because I can go back and I can watch Dynamite or anything else via DVR at my leisure. But live sports, that's just how it is. I mean, that's realistically speaking.
Does DVR still? I thought, from my understanding, I could have always had this wrong. This might be more of a Matt Michaels question. Does DVR still not account for a rating if it's recorded and watched within a certain time frame? Because I thought it was.
My understanding is if it is watched that same night, then it counts if it's DVR'd. But if you watch it on a different day, then there's no way to count it. So, okay. And I'm sure somebody in the comments or somebody that's listening will be kind enough to let us know so that we know for the future. But yeah, okay. Realistically speaking, I think that this article had a bit of a clickbait headline to it, because the tone that they took, it's like as if the ratings have peaked and that they will never bounce back. They will never be what they once were. And that's not the case whatsoever. Realistically, the show this coming week is being moved because of the NHL. And then keep in mind, all this stuff with preemptions and all that kind of thing, that's all going to go away after AEW Dynamite moves to TBS January 5th of 2022. That was a big reason why they're moving to TBS, is because they will not be preempted by the NHL or any other sports organization that is running a game that night.
Right.
So it's one of those things that, keep in mind what I just said. The network gives precedence to sports programming, live sports programming over live wrestling.
Sure. I get that.
I mean, hell, if we want to go back, John in the chat actually just said it's like the Westminster Dog Show bumping Raw on USA once a year back in the day for AEW Dynamite. That's how I view it. That's the long and short of it. Also, special shout out to Our boy Joe in the chat, he says, "Hey guys, I'm listening to the best show in Vegas." Damn right.
Thank you, Joe. We appreciate it. Let me jump over to you, Simon Street. Okay, TK. Okay, Tony Khan is understanding here that he's going to be up against some big sports here. At what point do you think then should he be building a show that can maybe keep some of those fans with going, man, I really kind of want to watch this one now because this is real huge. Why not build that card, stack it up so strong that at least you can have a chance? It ain't going to win, but at least it doesn't have to take as big as a hit that it's taking. What would be your take on that?
What makes you think that TK isn't kind of that same mindset? It's just going to take a bit of time for him to kind of make the moves he needs to make. Well, other than the Coke, obviously, as Michael signals the line for Coke.
I had droopy nose, man. I didn't say anything.
Coke is a hell of a barrier. But outside of all of that, I do believe that, and again, I've made it well known that I don't watch the product often. But even from not watching the product often, I will say that he has all the tools that he needs to be able to successfully do that. Is it, as you put, Impact, is it going to totally compete with, these changes due to sports? Maybe not. Mostly maybe not. But I do think that he definitely has something that he can put together to try and make that happen. I mean, it's to me, it's not a stretch. Maybe I'm not seeing all the cards in front of me, but I think that TK can do that. The only thing that I will say is this is going to be regular for what it is until they move to TBS, because TBS doesn't have sports, do they? I'm not sure if they do. Do they? No. So, I mean,
just baseball is the only thing that they have, and that's
gotcha.
The Sunday day game.
Sunday night game. Yeah, it's Sunday day game. Yeah.
So at the end of the day, if this is just what he has to kind of deal with now, and he knows that the light at the end of the tunnel per se is going to be on TBS, he doesn't have to really worry about this on a regular basis too much, then fine. I do believe that the article was definitely kind of leaning more toward, doom and gloom, when really it wasn't as big a doom and gloom as it was when you look at the facts.
Okay. Well, thank you much for that. Let me ask you, Matt Michaels. He did title it. He said that, Dynamite ratings dropped again, and it would likely get worse from here. You can easily put AEW ratings into a search engine, and you'll begin to read all these different articles and them saying about the ratings are coming down. But let me ask you, is this something that either would you say Tony Khan would be the blame, or maybe even the AEW fans would be the blame for making ratings such a big deal, that to a point that now when something like this comes out, it doesn't look good for them? I mean, what would be your take on this?
So I think that the first and foremost on that particular question is it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in the realm of it's up to the network. As long as the network is supporting you, then they're fine, and they'll build their growth, and they'll lose their, they'll lose people and gain people, and lose people and gain people. If you go back on these ratings, so the lowest point during this year was in around the June period. That's when the NBA had their playoffs this year. So they lost people during that. The Westminster Dog Show, not the same example. The better example is Monday Night Raw going against Monday Night Football. Raw's ratings always sucked against Monday Night Football. So that's going to happen. What I find very interesting about this, first of all, TBS, like we said, baseball. Also, they have March Madness. So that's all like within that network of family. But the most interesting thing, they're moving it to TBS, because they have NHL on Wednesday nights. But that doesn't solve the problem, because the NHL is still going to be in direct competition against the program.
Right.
So if you're going to be losing, if you theoretically, if you would have moved it to Saturday nights, period, there was better chance that you would build a base around a Saturday night show and not lose an audience. Now you do have the possibility of losing an audience towards, to the NHL on Wednesday nights. And really, that's the only reason that I think that's even a thought, is because there are so many Canadian fans, and Canadians are wild about hockey, right? So I think this is a really kind of a stupid fucking article right now, because they're not. Listen, if you look back over the last since the end of July-ish, early August, they've primarily been averaging right around the million mark. If you averaged all those numbers. And from day one, that's what I said. They have to rake in about 1 million, and they should be. And that's it. It's very simple.
Yeah.
I think the Dodgers game really had a lot of, I don't think so. You lost a little bit of that demographic, but to be quite honest, the West Coast Dodger fans were watching the game earlier before, you could flip back over to AEW and still see the show pretty much. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Baseball ratings, I don't really take into too much consideration. If it was football, then they'd be getting killed. But I mean, dude, don't kill it yet. Now Rampage is a different story, because Rampage is a shitty time on a fucking Friday night, and those numbers will continue to decline just because of what it is time-wise. Yeah.
No doubt. Thank you for that, man. And a shout out to John, who said he researched, and yes, DVR and TiVo counts toward ratings, but it's too complicated to simply break it down how. So, yeah,
All right.
I thought it was. I don't think so. I thought someone told me that. All right, let's get into our third count for tonight. GameRent.com titled Twitch leak reveals how much pro wrestlers are making on the platform. So let's go right into it. The 8 pro wrestlers highlighted during the huge Twitch data leak are Paige, who appears to have made the most money, $478,224. God dang, Paige. Please come on our show and tell us how you do that. We need to know. All right.
Well,
wow, the way you said that, please come on our show.
Close behind her, Zelina Vega and Adam Cole, who made $341,748 and $318,080 respectively. After then come Impact Wrestling with $69,140. Tyler Breeze, okay, $43,755. Evil Uno, $35,742. Colt Cabana, $32,479, and Final Xavier Woods, $25,431. So those were what was leaked. But it said that Jason Kobler, editor in chief of the Motherboard, has reportedly confirmed that Twitch data leak is accurate by testing against Motherboard's own numbers. However, fellow Twitch streamer Asmongold has gone on record claiming that the leaked figure for his own earnings is incorrect. Reportedly, the figures quoted here are calculated from subscriptions and bits, meaning that they don't take donations into account. So as a sizable portion of Twitch streamers, income tends to come from donations. This suggests that the actual amount these pro wrestlers made on Twitch could be significantly higher. To conclude, it says, although there's certainly a sizable amount of money to be made on Twitch, WWE has a policy that prevents talent from streaming. And while this mandate does not apply to retired superstars like Paige, it has reportedly caused friction with WWE current wrestling stables. Zelina Vega was released over the issue of not being able to stream. And though she has signed with the company again, her husband seems to be running the increasingly neglected channel. Adam Cole also decided to jump ship from WWE to AEW with his desire to keep the independent Twitch channel apparently playing major parts in negotiations. All right, Simon Street, you're the one who says, hey, man, this is definitely a story worth looking into. What do you think about this, man? There's a lot of money being made for whoever breached this platform. What's your take?
Well, I think one reason why I wanted to present this article in our 3 count, because it was a bit of a follow-up from an article that we had previously done. I have to say probably about almost less than a year ago. It might have been a little bit sooner than that, but it was right when Zelina Vega, right when all those different things were going on with her in WWE that brought this about, this not allowing streamers. And I know a lot of us expressed, particularly myself and Sin City Steve, who do have some dabblings with Twitch, how much money you can potentially make. So that definitely, this article presents a lot of clarity with this leak. It just kind of goes to show you that Vince McMahon knew the writing on the wall. He knew that, there a lot of, at the time, superstars were making extra money off of their namesake that was created by WWE. And so with that in mind, he took the appropriate actions as what he did to make sure that, hey, if I can't monetize myself off of what they're earning, then I can limit the amount of what they can use in their name likeness. And that's why, as this article described, a lot of people did leave in regards to that. What's interesting enough is how we know how WWE handles this. How does AEW handle this? Obviously they mentioned Impact Wrestling as well, and some of their superstars. How do they handle that? And right now, do they not really handle it? And if that's the case, because the amounts that were reported in this leak are not substantially high as compared to like Paige or Thea, because that's what her Twitch name is. If they start getting up there, let's just say in the 200,000s, do you see what I'm saying? Does AEW maybe want to look at that in the same way that WWE's, or do they not going to care? One other thing too that you didn't mention in the article that the article did say is that when they were mentioning all the different people, like right now, Zelina Vega, who also goes by Thea, is not running her page at all. Actually, supposedly in this article, they say that her man is running it right now, and it's basically.
I mentioned that.
Yeah, did you mention that? Okay. It's not really operable like it used to be. So I just wonder moving forward, because this is an issue that's not going to go away, and I do think it will eventually. You will get that right person in AEW where they'll have to look at it. I don't know if they will address it, but I think they'll have to look at it because they are using their namesakes and they are using the platform, the exposure that they are getting from being on a show to garner subscriptions, to garner people who may be fans of them because they see them on an AEW show or an Impact show and say, hey, I want that next layer of closeness to the person I like. Let me get on their Twitch and let me shell out my money. Well, that could be money that's going into the product that they're engaged on with their particular show that they're on.
Gotcha. All right. Let me ask you, let's go over to you, Matt Michaels. I guess we're going to get data breaches because that's just the time we're in. And so it's going to happen. Nevertheless, you find out that there's what some of these guys are making. The overtimer.com, they title one of their titles within the article, some wrestlers earn more than Impact. And that would have been Adam Cole, Zelina Vega, and Paige earning more money than Impact. I don't know. What is your take on this whole thing? I mean, yeah, there was that whole thing that took place with WWE. And we do see Zelina's back. It's great to see that they was able to figure that out on what to do. But I mean, it's great to see these guys are making this type of money. I don't really think it should be that big of a deal. But what do you see from this?
I really honestly don't give a shit. To be honest. Who cares? They're making money off of fucking merchandise. They're making money off their contracts. If they want to make money off of Twitch, great. If they can't, oh well, that's the contract you sign. Adam Cole is the example of the person who went to AEW to make money, continuing on Twitch, apparently, according to this thing. So AEW doesn't give a shit.
Which I didn't even know that. I didn't know part of Adam Cole's decision was because of the Twitch.
Yeah. So who knows? And that's the whole thing. This is a breach. You see these numbers. Okay. Not one of these people made you stop and go, oh my God, look at how much they're making. Xavier Woods makes 25 grand.
Tyler Breeze did. He made me go, what the fuck?
I
would have been like $2.
No.
He's great at games.
I'm talking about the people who are raking in like the hundreds of millions, from this kind of shit.
Sure.
Listen, and AEW allows Jon Moxley to go out and wrestle in GCW. So are they going to allow people to have fucking Twitch pages? Yeah. So the biggest thing for you, Impact, though, is the fact that your favorite organization makes less on their fucking page than three of the wrestlers on this list. So
that's true. Sin City Steve, I don't know what I'm gonna do about that, man. But what's your take, man? Just kind of reading how some of these guys and gals are making that extra income.
Honestly, man, it doesn't surprise me.
You're probably like, sign me up, right?
No shit, man.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, the name that really stands out there, out of the ones that you mentioned, of course, you've got, Paige at 478K, which that one is just insane. But also, let's be real, the Adam Cole figure of $318,000. And then there not being anybody else even close to.
By the way, is all this so Twitch? I should automatically assume that all these guys are gamers. Is that where all the money is? Because they're gamers.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they don't just do games.
I'm getting correct. Yes. I'm getting no. I'm trying to get some clarification here. Let's go.
So they don't all play video games on their streams.
Okay.
So yeah, basically Twitch is simply a streaming platform. So you can play video games. You can do any number of things. Like you can do tabletop RPGs. You can just go and hang out and talk to people. And yes, people will pay subscriptions for you to talk to them. Of course, you're going to have, people that are wearing significantly less clothing than normal. Yes. So obviously they can't be, nude or anything like that. But yeah, there was a thing for a long time where several enterprising young women were hanging out in a hot tub wearing very, very small bikinis and chatting with presumably a lot of guys that were tipping a lot of money to them.
Okay.
Yes. So I mean, it is what it is. The numbers don't necessarily surprise me, but seeing Paige, Zelina Vega, and Adam Cole in the hundreds of thousands, and then you've got Impact Wrestling at under $100,000. That puts everything into perspective. And I'm not saying it to twist the knife. I'm just being real, man. Like, wow, that's a lot.
Sure.
That's a lot.
Sure.
And when you put those numbers out there, let's be real. I can see why Adam Cole did leave WWE and the WWE family to go to AEW if that was a cause for it. Right. $318,000 a year is a lot of money.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
well, let's be real though. Let's be real. To be honest, this is the real thing we should be talking about here. Sonny has an OnlyFans, people. Come on, look at this. Come on, Steve. 6 months, you get 25% off, $135 to see, a little Sonny action. Huh?
I'm sorry. I go to the grocery store to get my deli meat. I don't need to go on our OnlyFans page.
I'm thinking Arby's.
Did he just straight disappear?
Yeah, he's gone. He's gone. I don't know how he did it, but that's
he banished himself.
Oh my God, Simon Street. You've disappeared. If you didn't know, like you're not okay. Maybe
I'm still here.
Oh, okay. All right then.
Well,
you know what? And by the way, guys, believe it or not, Vegas Bad Boy has a Twitch page too. We're gonna do some advancement. We're gonna get a hot tub. Matt Michaels is going to be in that hot tub, and we asking all of you guys to subscribe to Twitch to see Matt Michaels in the hot tub. He's going to answer whatever questions you have for him. It's coming soon. Just search Vegas Bad Boys on Twitch.
And then also, too, we're going to be playing R. Kelly's greatest hits in the background. And we're going to be taking, because Bill Cosby is going to donate a whole bunch of chocolate pudding to put in there as well.
If it means we're going to make over 100,000, 200,000.
Hey, you win it.
I'll do nasty fucking shit. So,
hey, wow. Yeah, okay. I feel good.
All right,
yeah, line me up. All right.
Well, there's that. You heard it here first.
Man, there's no place there's no place I won't stick a banana for over 100 grand. So,
oh my God, look at that.
Michael, be careful what you say. There might be somebody watching the show that has a substantial amount of money that may offer that. And it won't be a banana because that banana might break in there. They might they might get you like with I don't know, the zucchini or something. I don't know.
All right. Guys, everybody, thank you for hanging out with us. This end of the show just went south. Apologize for that. We are Vegas Bad Boys, so it can get like that sometimes. But we appreciate you hanging out with us. And we're going to get to our final thoughts of the week. So let's go ahead and kick it off. Simon Street, what you want to tell the good people out there?
Well, hey, good people, continue to try and be on your best behavior. Just remember, hey, opinions are something that we all share, like air, water. And even though some people, at times may have outlandish opinions, it's their opinions. And unless they're personally augmenting your budget or your life and the decisions you make, just be respectful. And if you don't like what they're saying, just fucking walk away.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's go over to you, Cincy. What you want to tell folks?
Thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight in the chats. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, doing everything that you guys do. It helps to further our brand. It helps to grow the show, and it helps us to build a bigger community. So thank you. Also, very special thank you to every brave man and woman serving this country on either lands, foreign or domestic. We appreciate the sacrifice that all of you have made, and you enable us to do this show. You enable us to do everything that we do. So we are indebted. Thank you. And last but certainly not least, repsports.com, reppsports.com. Go there for all of your pre-workout, weight loss, and general energy needs. Again, repsports.com. Use promo code Vegas at checkout and save yourself 15%.
Perfect. Thank you much. Matt Michaels, what you want to say?
Yeah, this week we lost another legendary figure in the wrestling world in Reggie Parks. Reggie designed belts for many different things like UFC, the Hard Candy album cover for Madonna, and most famously the WWF's 1980s Winged Eagle belt. Reggie also was a trained wrestler who wrestled for many years. He was trained by Stu Hart. He's Canadian, so he always had a pleasant disposition. And luckily, Reggie was out here at the Cauliflower Alley Club just a few weeks ago. So he did at least get to see a number of old friends, recently before he did pass away. So, someone who's very influential in the business. If you don't know his work, just look it up, and you'll really see he was an incredible innovator in the designs for wrestling and belts in general.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Matt Michaels. Appreciate that. Letting us know. With that, we're going to call it a night. We thank you for hanging out with us. Please continue to support us as best as you can. Download, listen, subscribe. If you feel like Cash Apping us, hey, we're taking those dollars, and we got some big things coming soon for you guys, and we appreciate everything that you're doing to help this come right along. We're also putting those dollars towards advertising so that others can find us and enjoy what you've been enjoying. So you can always cash app us at Vegas Badboyz, the money sign Vegas Badboyz. Whatever you send, we always appreciate it. All right. So stay safe. We'll see you back next week. All right. Peace.